Welcome to the PopGo Project podcast, a platform for the discussion and discovery of arts and entertainment. We focus on highlighting people and events that add value to the world around us. Visit us on all social media platforms by searching the PopGo Project or visit our website at thepopgoproject.com. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for listening. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Are you still cutting your own grass? Are you still trying to get your landscaping to look perfect on your own? That sounds sweaty. That sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like a job for Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Family owned and operated, Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services, located on Kern Street in Exeter near Blue Ribbon Dairy, has the quality and experience to get your yard looking its best. The Garden Center offers plants, trees, sod, mulch, rocks, flowers, topsoil, grass seed, straw bales, and much more, while the Lawn and Landscaping Services offers mowing, trimming, planting, and full landscaping. And also new at Keller's Garden Center is the Zen Chaser Bonsai Studio, offering bonsai trees, supplies, and classes. Visit them on their social media page for more info. Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Get your free estimate today. This episode is also brought to you by Paulson Tours. For almost 30 years, this family-owned and operated business has been sending people to sports games, racing events, concerts, vacations, and more. I myself have been using Paulson Tours for trips to Red Sox games, wine festivals, and an annual guys trip to Boston for St. Paddy's Day for almost 15 years. Check out the current trips being offered over at paulsontours.com. Life's a trip. Go with Paulson Tours.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, Sweetnest.
Hey.
Hey,
Hello.
handsome.
I feel like we've been trying to set this up for a long time.
Yeah, and then life happened, and then everything else.
It's tough, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna just hope for the best with the 3 dogs sitting behind us because,
Oh, fingers
We're
crossed.
gonna hear dogs. There's gonna be dogs at some point.
well, we're hoping not, but
There's gonna be dogs.
we'll try.
I had one. It was with the Scoville unit. Him and his wife had some dogs run in and out. There's probably been maybe 2 or 3 episodes where dogs and cats have appeared in video. Sometimes my own have appeared, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What kind of animals do you have?
I have one cat. I used to have 2. Now I have 1.
Aw,
The other one died last year. He was almost 18 years old, diabetic for 10 of the 18 years. The vet didn't know how he was still alive that long with diabetes, but survivor, I guess.
he was a happy guy.
Yeah, he was the best. I had him. I knew him, or I had him longer than I like in any other relationship, even my wife. Like I had him before I met my wife, so it was definitely a sad day. It's
Of course.
interesting how those pets can make you cry.
Oh, absolutely. Constantly, even when they're too cute.
Yeah, for sure.
Or when they eat your bed, which is currently what we're going
Yeah.
through.
Yeah,
Oh,
today our puppy started eating my mattress, so that's pretty fun.
So they're puppies.
One
Well,
is kind of.
One is, yeah.
He's 1.
Yeah, he's little.
So he's like, yeah, he's right at that age where he's really getting into trouble.
They're a lot of fun. I hopefully one day I get a dog when my children are older and can help take care of it.
Sure.
Because I take care of them like they're animals now. My daughter
Ooh.
just took her first 4 or 5 steps today.
Oh, wow.
So it's only a matter
Congrats.
thank you. Yeah, it's only a matter of time before she's running around and I'm chasing her, and
How old is she?
she just turned 1 in July. And then my son will be 6 in
Oh my gosh.
December. Yeah, so it's fun times here at the Popco household.
You're busy.
Yeah. So that's why I do these late at night. So thank you for taking the time
Of
to
course.
try to do the dad stuff and husband stuff before I disappear into the basement.
I definitely respect your drive to keep on with everything, you know?
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's coming up on 3 years. Believe it
Yeah.
or not. Yeah.
Nice. We watch them all. So
Well, thank you. Yeah, hopefully one day I will be out of the basement and into like an official studio. That would be
yeah,
the ideal situation. There's nothing better than a conversation face to face. You know,
totally.
you guys could come in, we can give some hugs. How you doing? I'll offer you some water, an alcoholic beverage if you were to so choose. It'll be a nice situation. But for
Yeah,
now, we'll still do the internet thing. We'll have
totally.
dogs in the background.
Hey,
We'll have internet go in and out. Um, the audio will be as good as possible considering the situation of online. Justin from Art Development does a great job of tweaking this.
oh,
You
sweet.
guys came prepared with a nice mic setup, so that's helpful. So
This is
thank you.
honestly like all his thing. Like I write music, but I don't all the technical stuff and like electronics and like that's not my
I like to
forte.
stream playing guitar sometimes, so I kind of have everything like set up to
Yeah,
do that.
plus he's like normally into computer stuff, but
And then
I
computer
can't
stuff.
I can't take
That's what I do for it's my career. So
Okay.
I can't
Yeah,
take
wait, I like the quotes, computer stuff. Like you're a
can't take
joke.
credit for this.
You're a joke, Matt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a little computer career.
Yeah, you know he does those.
Computer-
He's always typing.
Well, I see you have a Game Boy in the background there. That's pretty sweet.
Oh, I got a lot of cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
I got
This,
cool
don't
stuff.
look. This is gonna be like Cribs, but it's just all Matt's nerd stuff.
I like video game stuff. Guitar amps are over there. Guitars are over there. It's a lot. There's a lot going in as soon as you walk in our house.
Yeah, I just found my Game Gear not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
What's it worth to you?
I don't know. A kiss?
It's worth more than that. Come on. I'll do those one of those things like I know what I have. I know what I have. I don't know if it turns on. I haven't tried it yet.
It probably does.
I'm assuming my Game Boy is at my mom's house somewhere as well, but I'm not sure. But that was sweet. Game Boy was the shit.
Yeah, I think I have well, that's actually a clock. But I do have a real one down there somewhere.
It's really creepy. It like plays this terrifying song, but not normally. So it's just randomly it goes off. It's absolutely terrifying.
I don't have it set to go off, and sometimes it just
It'll be like
does.
3 a.m, and it'll be like me, 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 and I'm like, oh hell,
The batteries
hell
are
no.
dying, so it's like a really slow Tetris theme.
It's
like at 3 in the morning.
terrifying.
It's like da,
And we watch a lot of ghost shows, so it's like
I love it.
it's not to use a pun, but it's very alarming.
I love it.
Sure. That's awesome. I love it. I hope it goes off during this interview.
Oh, imagine.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, thanks again for doing this. I feel like we never get an opportunity to really talk at length, right? We're always like in passing, or you're playing a show, you're on stage, or off stage, you're on to the next thing, or whatever it might be. And I'm what I do, and I just run around like a nut. And I'm at shows, I'm not at shows, and it's been a tough, not tough,
He's trying to talk to you.
not that. No, it's not. It's definitely not that.
And there's like a line to get to you. We're like,
Oh yeah, I wish. I always said I hope one day I have that like kind of influence where like I keep doing this, it grows, and like I change someone's life. That would be pretty sweet. But really, really quick, shameless plug, and I'm going to do this now because before I forget, and I'm only going to do this because it benefits others. Pop Goes Porter is back on tap at the Back Mountain Brewing Company in Dallas, Pennsylvania. It's not in cans. We did a can release last October, where all the proceeds went to the Lake Lehman Music Program. It's back on tap at Back Mountain Brewing Company, and $1 from each pint sold will go to the Lake Lehman Music Program once again. So just a heads up on that. Anyone watching or listening who's in the Dallas area or likes good beer.
yeah, very cool.
It's an excellent beer. But sorry, I had to do that.
Oh, I'm glad you said something.
But yeah, so we don't get to talk that often. So this is gonna be cool. It's been a minute. You guys are fresh off of the Good Things Are Happening festival.
Yeah.
How was that? I missed it. I was out seeing Incubus.
Yeah, which is super cool as well. I think we texted about it, but
Yeah.
It was great. There was an awesome turnout. Weather held up for the most part. But yeah, great turnout, and all the bands were awesome. Like the whole day, it was hard to pick a time. Like, oh, should we go let the dogs out? Because it's like you didn't want to miss anybody. It's
Right.
like that's how many good bands were on it. But yeah, you can tell like so much effort went into that, and oh my gosh,
Yeah, I hope
yeah,
good things continue to happen. Obviously that is put on by James Barrett. He
yes.
started it last year. It's his second year, and hopefully that'll continue to grow every year. And hopefully next year I'll make it.
I hope so too. He'll have to tell you the date like way before.
Well, I was texting him earlier, and he goes, "We need you there next year." And I said, "Well, sir, you scheduled that around me." I'm kidding, but yeah.
Funny story. I was at Guitar Center today with our friend Summer. She works there, but I got a call from James today, and he said, "Are you at Guitar Center?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, "Why?" He goes, he hangs up. Just walks in the store and approaches me. And so we gave hugs, and he's still, we chatted about it, and he's really just overwhelmed with like the support and you know, just everything that goes along with it. I think he's kind of coming down from because like I said, that work that went into it behind the scenes is like
Yeah,
amazing.
it's
Team effort.
ambitious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like absolutely.
Yeah, I can't really imagine how crazy it is. I really can't.
To try to get everything arranged, and oh my god.
No,
Well,
that's
funny.
That's a nightmare to me.
That's
It's like the worst days of my life. If I had to do that, if I honestly think about it, I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it. I tell everybody I'm going to do it and just not.
Well, I remember last year, like he put it together so quickly last year, and I don't know that I doubted him, but I remember him calling me and saying, "What do you think about this idea?" And in my head, I'm like, "Dude, that's a great idea. I mean, I love music. I would love for you to put something on. I would love to, it to be at a great venue." But like in my mind, like I'm like, oh, there's so much red tape to jump through, and there's like all this other shit to worry about. And he wanted to do it in like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. And the son of a bitch did it.
He did it. Also, I'm so glad you started cursing, because I'm like, can we curse on here? That's why I was like,
Yeah, it's the internet. You can do whatever you want.
I'm just glad that you're letting it fly, because
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, you got some F-bombs in the holster?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Always.
So, you know what's really funny? When I remember, I think I played your song, "Oh My God," on Alt 92.1 when I had a radio show.
Yeah.
And I think I played that song with the word shit, not bleeped out.
I know. That's like a curveball. You like don't see that one really coming with us, but
I don't know that anyone caught that, thankfully, because I may have gotten in trouble for that. But I couldn't believe it, because I was like mortified, and I was like, shit, I can get some trouble here. But yeah, like I said, it's like not like, because all that entire album until now is so good, and just kind of not any curses, I don't think, except for that one song.
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not the lyric person.
No, there's no.
I think it's just that song, but whatever. I decided to play it, and I was like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. She said shit.
She said shit. Yeah, I think it's just, oh my God. Because it was actually weird, because when we were like submitting our music, it's like, is this album explicit? And I was like, I had to check yes. I was like, oh my God.
Right.
Like you hear it and you wouldn't really think that. So it's like, it was kind of funny to me.
Yeah, looking back now, I think that's the only song that had an E next to
yeah. Yeah, otherwise we're clean, we're good, we're great for the children, you know what I mean?
We're family friendly.
What?
Do you plan it, or is it just like do you try not to curse in your songs?
Oh no, I mean, I think if it just happens like organically, it'll stick, unless it's like something, real weird. But no, like that one was just written that way, and I just it's funny when we play it live, like I have to gauge the crowd. I'm like, looking for kids, looking for someone who, well, old people, it goes either way. But I would look around and say, I'm either gonna say shit or I'm gonna just go away from the mic. I like don't try to really. We probably should come up with like a clever.
You could just say stuff.
I know, but that's like so boring, you know. I mean,
You could say sheet. That'd be kind of funny.
I think stuff would sound like more like harsh than shit.
Yeah,
Like you said
absolutely.
stuff. Like, what did she just say? Stuff.
Exactly.
Or if
like
you said
it just,
shit, it would just be like, no.
that just rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's never like intentional. A lot of my songs, I just kind of hit record on my phone and I'll strum along and just kind of like, not like freestyle, but just kind of find a melody I like and then just kind of start rambling. Kind of like if you think about like free writing with poetry where people just sit and they write and they write and they write and they write and then eventually they kind of pick pieces out of it. It's kind of like that where I kind of like cast a line and then just mess around, and if something sticks I roll with that, and then my memory isn't awesome, so it helps to have it recorded so then I could go back and say, okay, that was a really cool line, and then go from there. But no, I don't avoid cursing, I guess.
Yeah, it's fun. Go ahead.
What the fuck? I forgot what I was gonna say.
See how we are? Can't take us anywhere.
I don't know how she records. Her and I don't have the same musical writing experience. We're pretty much the opposite when it comes to like recording, when it comes to playing shows, when it comes to doing almost everything.
But I think that's why it works.
Yeah.
You know, like, because if we were both, not high strung, but you know what I mean? I get nervous. And then he's like, who cares? We're having fun. It's music. Yeah. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Of course we care. Blah, 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 blah. But like I said, it's a balance, but it works. But we are opposites pretty much in those ways, especially, recording and everything too.
Have you guys been together all the way back to the 2018 until now album?
Relationship wise or band wise?
Both, whatever.
Well, we were doing music long before we decided to date. We were just friends for a while, but yeah, Matt's been with me through the entire recording process.
Our dogs are fighting literally right behind us.
Can you hear that?
They're very quiet. They're very quiet. Quiet fighters. I like it.
They're actually like wrestling.
That's funny.
So they're showing off for you.
Nice.
Guys. Oh, the third one's getting involved. Anyway.
There's 3. Nice.
There's 3. And they're all roughly 90 pounds. So
Damn.
Yeah. But anyway,
recording, how we record differently. And our relationship.
Okay. I was gonna say you better keep us on track because we get distracted easy. But yeah, so basically he's been recording with me forever, and then I had tried to start bands before, but it just never worked out with people and schedules. And when it was in college, it was still really hard to get together with people. So I was always just a solo act just because it was easier, and it was what I was used to. But when I met Matt, when we became friends, he kind of opened my eyes to like, okay, you can do it with other people. It doesn't have to be so private. It doesn't have to be. So Matt is the reason I even met, Ed Kuzo and Jay and all of those guys, Dan Rosler. Like he's the reason that I really got introduced to those people. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I grew up with those idiots. So we had a lot of fun growing up, getting a lot of trouble.
Well, I was going to say, thank God for Matt.
Oh yeah, those absolutely.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2018 is pretty much like the start of everything.
I want to mention just Scott Jordan too, because I grew up with, just so I can call him an ugly son of a bitch on this.
Scott Jordan.
Shout out Scott Jordan.
You son of a bitch.
And why is that? Why is Scott Jordan a son of a bitch?
Oh, he's my best friend. He's been my best friend since high school.
Yeah.
Even in like elementary almost.
Sure. And that's how they show their affection. Everybody's different.
No, I like it. That's what men do. I think that's how we greet each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever works.
Like a finger in the butthole, or like
Yeah.
Whatever
they
you're into, man.
call it a jab slap or whatever. Remember back in the day when we were kids?
A
You did
pickle
each other the
poke.
dicks. What was that?
A pickle poke.
I don't remember that one.
Oh,
Just me?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh,
I guess I'm the only one who got pickle poked, but who knows?
Titty twisters, it's like
Yeah.
all the good stuff with us men. We'll never grow up. It's just what we do.
But that's a good thing, truly. Like you can't take things seriously all the time. You just can't.
No.
It's not right.
Life's too hard to like worry about shit like that.
Totally. And my grandma used to say, either laugh or you cry, so
Yeah.
that's kind of something I live by too.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It is one or the other, basically.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, it
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yeah. So 2018, when Until Now came out, were you guys like still just friends and had a working relationship, or were you guys like dating as
Yeah,
well?
it was a mix. We started really dating kind of like that summer. But yeah, up until then, just friends, like James Barrett says, like musical companions, like that's like the vibe that we had. And it also helped because we had dogs. So we would go to the dog park and listen to music and write and talk, and like it was good. You know what I mean? It was always just super healthy, super laid back, very comfortable. But yeah, around that time is when pretty much everything started and blossomed and began.
And 5 years later, we're still here.
We are,
That's great.
by the grace of God. Yeah, we're here. But yeah, it doesn't feel like 5 years ago, but like you said, it does. It
Yeah.
feels longer or whatever. Time, like we talked about, is an illusion.
Doesn't exist. It's fake.
Doesn't exist. It's like, no, make it make sense. You can't.
I was actually just thinking about this like yesterday, maybe it was just like how like who decided like there's 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour and 24 hours in a day and 365. I mean, I'm sure there's
I think
the
about
Mayans
that
or whatever, but like
I'll be driving on the highway like, who did this?
Yeah, who did? Like, I'm
Who
surprised.
Who made this road? Who made this? Like, was this just a mountain?
Right. Yeah.
Who was just like, let's do this?
Yeah, it's wild to think about. I'm
It's a blank
surprised.
slate.
I'm surprised, like in today's world, like someone hasn't tried to like battle time. Like, why
Totally.
they haven't tried to cancel time, right?
Totally.
Like, no, time's not real. Like the flat Earth and shit like that. Like,
Well, I know, like, one thing that always like melts my brain is when people are like, we're gonna just get rid of daylight savings time or whatever. It's like, it's that, like malleable. You can just like choose to just be like, hey, that hour doesn't exist, or it does, or just like,
Yeah.
and also make a decision, because like every year they're like, we're canceling it
right.
because like that's the way it's gonna go, but then it never happens. And then it's dark at 4:00. So
Yeah. And then the seasonal depression sits in, and
sure,
I hibernate in the winter.
Yeah, he does.
I'm a summer person.
He's
summer.
like, I am so hot all the time, and he's not. He's chilling. He's comfortable. You know what I mean? So summer is like my nightmare unless I'm like swimming or like whatever. I love being outside, but have to have like something to cool off,
Yeah.
and then I'm totally chill. But he's like, oh, I love when you could see the asphalt, like.
Oh, I like it when you can smell the asphalt melting
Yeah.
And
on
I'm
those
just
hot
like,
days.
I'm like, there has to be something wrong with you. But
you
as we
look
said
up,
before, to each his own.
yeah, you look above it and you can see it, like it's like the heat, like the
Exactly.
waves.
And I'm like, I'm in hell, and he's like, this is heaven. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay.
I'm worried that we're gonna get whacked with snow this year.
I have no idea what to expect. Like last year, I
got nothing
expected
last year.
worse.
I got
Yeah.
nothing. I don't think I shoveled once last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did either.
Oh, that reminds me. we are millennials, you know what I mean? So the one year Matt works from home, so he's always here.
On
But
his little computer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever these things are, contractions. So he was like, someone knocked at our door and it was a kid, but I say kid like maybe college or a hair younger because, you know, we're 30. And I say he was in his young 20s. So he knocks on our door, hey, I'll shovel you out. And that was when we got hammered. Like that one time we got hammered. And it was like almost 2 feet, I think. And we live in downtown Scranton, so they don't take care of the roads at all, or the sidewalks or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we said, yeah. And then we realized we didn't have cash. So in very millennial fashion.
Oh, we Venmo'd him.
We Venmo'd him. I was
Nothing
like, you
wrong with
got Venmo, kid? Yeah. And he was just like, yeah. And that was the end of it. But people don't believe that we paid a kid through Venmo to shovel our sidewalks because that's such an old-fashioned thing to do is like kids going door to door to shovel the sidewalks. It's like
I told him to come back. He never did.
Well, that's so here. I'll share a similar story, except mine was so these kids, I live in a development and these kids were coming around and it was like a dusting. And these kids, I think they wanted like $20. But like, so I'm like, there's no way they deserve $20 for the amount of snow they're shoveling, right? But I'm like, you know what? I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the nod to generations past. Like these kids are hustling. They want to make some money. They want to earn it. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to pay the $20 now, and it'll be kind of like an incentive to come back when it matters.
Yeah.
Those fuckers never came back.
Yeah.
yeah, they're like,
I was like, what? I'm like, I gave you money. I gave you cash. Like, come back when it matters.
actual money.
I'm old. Like, I need help.
Bastards.
Yeah.
I'll wait to the very last minute before I shovel, just because I'm always waiting for a kid to come by and I'll pay him whatever he wants.
I'm like, why do you wait so long to like go out? And he's and honestly, he just revealed why. So mystery solved.
Smart.
So
move.
it is smart until no one shows up and
And it's dark outside. You're shoveling in the dark.
slipping on ice.
It's turned to ice. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And we live on a hill. You know, it's
Good times.
yeah.
He's a risk taker. I like it.
You could say that.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget when I first heard that album until now. And it was 2018. I think you may have given it to me when or after you were on the NEPA Scene podcast with Rich Howells and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it in the car on the way home. And I was like, holy shit. Like, this is amazing. Like, the arrangements on it, just the music, the voice is incredible. And I was just like, I wish I had listened to that prior to that interview because I probably would have spoke a lot more about it. But I'll never forget that. Like, I mean, to this day, it still gives me chills. And then
I wouldn't. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
but
go ahead.
I can't forget it either because I remember when you reached out, like I was genuinely shocked because like I didn't know you super well. It was our first time ever meeting, and I knew you were into music and the music scene around here, and I didn't know like I was like, oh, is he gonna just like put this on and just be like, this shit sucks and just like throw it out the window on the drive home. So when you contacted me and you were like, so like you connected with it, I was like so happy to hear that. Like that's something I'll never forget either because that was right when I started trying to share my music. So that's something I won't forget either.
Yeah, well, it's a shame because I feel like I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I feel like it hasn't been picked up by anyone else that has a local radio show even to this day. And it's a shame because I mean I think that happened a lot with when that show ended and I left.
That was a
station.
heartbreaker.
Yeah. But like there's so much out there that I featured that just never gets the recognition on other stations, which I can't stand. It drives me fucking crazy.
That's a shame because this area is just like
so good. It's filled
saturated with talent and like different talent. And as you know, just like our friends Jermaine, Ty Soul, John Clausen, like we're all over the board with our taste in music. And that was the cool thing because like your show really showcased, you didn't just pick a genre and like nail it into the ground. Like it was like you would get everybody from every corner out into the open. And that was how we that's how we made a lot of like local connections too. Like, hey, just heard you guys on like Popco show, just da, 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 da. So like that was like a really big moment like for us and the community. So, thanks for doing that. And I wish it didn't stop. But this is
Yeah.
cool too.
Well,
This
I'm
is
glad it
fun.
made an impact.
Of
And
course.
I'm glad. I always say too, like I feel like now and even back then, the scene was much more of a collaboration than it was in 15, 20 years prior to that. So I'm happy that it was that way, and I'm happy that that show kind of was part of that too. Um, but and it's a great collection of songs, and we've got a few songs from you over the past 5 years after that. I think it came out with Baby in 2019, a year later, which is a great song as well. And then you kind of did a split EP with A Fire with Friends, where you guys covered each other's songs, which was also very cool.
Yeah.
I think it was just, I want to say it came up in my Facebook memories today, as a matter of fact, where I think I featured, let me see this, the song with you and Jermaine and
Oh, Serenity.
Serenity. Yep, it was. So August 15th, 2020, I played Serenity I think for the first time.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
That's
amazing. And
crazy.
that we shot that video in downtown Wilkes-Barre and it
Yep.
was like 96 degrees. It was terrible, but it was fun because, your company's good, you know what I mean? But it was so hot. I thought I'd die.
It was your heaven. That's the perfect place for you.
I loved it.
Matt was like chilling.
He's on the bench.
But luckily we had Jermaine there cracking jokes
Yeah.
and Dan, and it was really great. And John's just a great person too. So it was good people. But yeah, that one of my favorite songs we've worked on, Serenity's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah. And just another example of like collaboration, like you said, like they wanted to involve everybody in that album, and R&B kind of Thai soul, and then you got straight rap with Jermaine, which I absolutely adore.
Yep.
Except I don't know if everybody knows this, but you caught a little bit of him singing on the Christmas album if you decided to listen to that. And
Yeah.
that was so he sang a little bit, but he doesn't like to tell people that because he thinks it's going to ruin like his
image.
His image.
Yeah.
He's like, don't tell anybody I sang on that.
Well, all 5 of my listeners are gonna fucking hear that.
I was gonna say,
Busted.
Cat's out of the bag.
Busted, bro. And then so Serenity, and then you just had a new release a few days ago called Heal.
Yeah, a week today actually.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, after that like full length album, you never kind of put anything out like at that like level. It's been like sporadic here and there.
Mhm.
Is there a reason for that, or is it just that life is fucking busy and the pandemic? I mean, you can't forget that, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100% the pandemic, because I think we were planning on an album in 2020, because we dropped we put out Baby in hopes that like that would be like a little teaser towards an album, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then we experienced some loss, and that has heavily influenced the album, the newest album, greatly. Here's Theo. He's the one that eats the bed.
What's up?
Anyway, so great loss. I lived essentially in this home with my grandparents, and they died within a couple years of each other, only 72 and 64 years old. So
oh wow,
very young. So that put writing on hold. And then when I finally was ready to write, it's some heavy stuff. But that being said, I wouldn't say, it definitely wasn't intentional. We're just now kind of saying that like the music needs to see the light of day, because we probably have about seven or eight complete songs just chilling,
That's
you know,
great
like
news.
ready, you know. So we want to do another full length.
That's awesome.
Hopefully in the early half of 2024. That would be a really good goal. But yeah, there wasn't really other than regular life reasons, and it just got put on the back burner. And I mentioned this before, but Matt really like hones in on music as his craft, and he's always kind of like learning, and he likes pedals and he likes the technology side of it. And with me, writing is like very personal, and I have to be in a decent headspace to do so, like a creative headspace. And for me, processing grief and working and all of it just wasn't on the forefront. So for him, it's more of a chill kind of hobby, blah blah blah. Which, not to downplay it, you know what I mean. That's not what I mean, but
Fuck myself, I guess.
yeah, yeah. He's but he's always just kind of like playing with the guitar and just shredding because he's insane. But yeah, with me, it's more like it's very like sacred writing for me. You know, it's very personal. I have never written with another person like in that moment. It's always later on I'd bring other people in, you know, so it's we're different in that way.
We actually don't write together at all. I'm
We really don't. It's a collaborative effort, but we don't sit and we're not like throwing ideas off each other. And it's different than that. You know, I'll write a song, take it to the studio, and I'll record my uke parts and my vocals usually, and then he'll go in either with me or just separately and just add in everything else: bass, guitar, lead guitar, you know. Yeah.
I don't sound is weird for me because I have the thing where you like see colors when you hear different sound.
Okay.
Right. So
there's a name for that, but I never remember it.
I don't know. So each one of the songs, whenever I ask her what she wants, she'll tell me it, and then I have to ask her, well, give me like a season. Usually I ask for seasons, like where do you see yourself if like you're listening to this song?
It's very visual for him.
And then I add in the stuff I see in my head, musically.
And honestly, like working with Joe Loftus is a dream. Same with Jay Preston. Like I'm terrible at talking about what I want, and they somehow make it happen.
Yeah.
Like I'm really bad at it. I just come right out with it.
Joe and Jay really have this kind of like honed in. You know what I mean? I'm all for people like trying out different producers and different studios just to see and experiment. But like the first time we were doing it with Joe and we listened to it, I'm like, that's kind of exactly what
we wanted.
I want, you know? So if we're I'm kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Joe and Jay get brought up, I think, almost every other podcast I do. They really,
rightfully,
great at their job, and also just they've created a community there as well. Tell me a little bit about Heal. Obviously, you know, the title kind of alludes to, you know, what it is, but
so Heal is ultimately kind of a song about, not cliches about grief and healing, but, you know, time heals all wounds, like those sayings that like are always brought up when it comes to healing, and just the process of healing. When I was writing the song, I originally, instead of having like an open instrumental chorus, I wanted to talk more about the core of the song, which was kind of like I was going to work every day, working with the elderly, which is my favorite population to work with. And I noticed that by, adding to their life, making them happy, it was healing me in return. And that's really where the song kind of was born, I guess you could say. It also dips into a little bit of self-awareness, which I try to do when I'm writing. I think that might be the realest I get with myself is when I'm songwriting. But yeah, Heal is also, oddly enough, very kind of like upbeat, more of a sunny vibe, summery. Like I knew it had to be dropped in the summer. I was like, this is a no-brainer. And I was like, oh, it's getting close. We got to drop it because, it's still summer and I really wanted this to just be kind of a vibe. But yeah, so I was in a really bad place when I wrote Heal, but oddly enough, I wanted it to just sound like how I wanted to feel. Right. I wanted to feel light and upbeat and warm, and I wanted all that. And so we threw all that into the song, and in turn, kind of listening to the song does kind of take you to that place that I wanted to be in. So it's interesting how it turned out. And then once we found out Jay played trombone, it was over. I was like, I always wanted trombone on one of our songs. So yeah, that was, again, a no-brainer when it came to Jay. And he wrote all the parts. I think there's like four different trombone parts throughout the song that he wrote just on the spot in the studio one night, which always blows my mind. But yeah, that's kind of the gist with Heal. And the last line is, if it heals me, I'll wait. Like I'll do anything to feel better. Like I'll do anything to feel a little less empty. That's what I want. So that was like, it was really kind of like a daydream, like daydreaming about healing and feeling whole again,
Well, I mean,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I arranged that with the thought in my head that I was in like Knoebels or something.
Yeah.
With a happy mask on.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of like wanted it to sound.
Yeah. So we're on the same page, even though we're not. That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
Masks are terrifying. I hate them. I don't care what they are. Happy, sad.
I'd be fine if I never saw one again.
Yeah. This freaks me out. But I was gonna say, you guys, I mean, you nailed it. I mean, when I listened to it, like it was a word I thought to myself, I can't think of it now, but just very light and not bubbly. I can't think of the word.
It's kind of like airy.
Airy, yes. Like, yeah.
There's like an atmosphere.
Wispy, I think maybe wispy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. Like we wanted to put like shiny, like shimmery parts in it. Like we wanted to get a little cheesy, just like a hair. And I always wanted to shoot a video for Heal. It hasn't happened yet. But again, kind of a cheesy vibe where it's either we're at a roller rink or like a high school dance, and just like everybody from the scene is there. Like every cameo you could imagine. We got Jermaine, we got John, we got everybody, we got Ed, we got you, we got Joe. I want Joe to wear a powder blue suit. I want the disco ball to shine off his bald head. Gorgeous.
Well,
I want it to be so cheesy and cool, but
well, if you want to make that real, I have access to a skating rink.
You do?
I do. Yes, he would.
The stars have just aligned.
All I have to do is ask him, and I know he would. Yeah, for sure.
That'd be cool. The only problem is I can't skate.
I haven't skated in
probably. He's gonna have to use one of those like, kiddie bars if they make them for.
No, I can't even stand up and skate. Did I ever tell you this? I wanted to skate really, really bad. It was about 2 or 3 years ago. So I went with my friend Alex. He used to play in Threat Point, if you remember them. He was a guitarist. So I was like, Alex, I'm kind of jealous that people go skating. It seems really fun. Will you go with me? Just you and me. Don't tell anybody. Let's go to the ice rink.
Don't tell anybody.
We went there, I put on skates. He put on skates. It was a nightmare. I couldn't even stand up.
I've never put ice skates on in my entire life.
Oh God.
Dang.
Yeah, never once. But yeah, so Butchie Feist, he was actually on this podcast back in June.
We will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, I think he would love that for sure.
I would too. It's just getting everybody there at the same time that I'm worried about, because I want, James Barrett. I want Vinny. I want everybody there. You know what I mean? So
let's do it on a weekend in the winter, even, just because people seem to be less busy. Maybe
that's a good idea.
That is a good point. All right. Well, now maybe we'll get the.
I kind of like the idea of using the roller rink, but I really want it like a high school.
Yeah, we like the idea
prom.
Of like a prom setting.
Like a really 1950s,
no, later.
1960s prom?
I'm
thinking like Back to the Future prom.
Yeah, I'm like a 70s girl.
With Dan Rosler as like one of the teachers and
smoking cigarettes with the kids out in the back.
Yeah.
Yes. This is all coming together.
Yeah.
I like this.
Okay. Well, as long as we have your approval, we might as well try.
I hope something happens.
Me too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But you say you have some more ready to go. And I always find it fascinating how people write. And you kind of said before, like you were like in a dark place. And is writing for you like really therapeutic?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I would say like writing for me it starts off like very meditative. So 9 times out of 10 with my baritone ukulele, I just find some chords in that moment that I like their progression. I like the way they sound together. And I'll start off just by kind of really like breathing and playing those notes just over and over by myself. And then usually that's when something kind of comes out of it. But it's, like I said, it's very like meditative for me, and private. So that's another part of it.
Is it hard for you to share those after the fact, like with the public? It's with it being so kind of close to you and private.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, sometimes it's even hard to show Matt. it's so personal to me. And I was so used to just playing songs alone for so long that's still in me a little bit. That kind of guarded nature, like it's a secret, but I'll maybe show you a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely therapeutic for me. That's also why I can't just do it all the time.
Right.
Because it's like in order to be in a space to get there, you have to, it's very specific, at least for me as a creative. But
well, yeah, and it's funny. I just talked to Tatiana 2 episodes ago.
I saw that. Yeah.
Her new song is fantastic. And her boyfriend is also a musician, Marty. And they kind of, worked on that song together. And she kind of talked about, him having an influence. And but we talked about, writing songs like when you're happy versus sad. And she was very said like, she has to be like in a place where she's not happy. And I said I never wrote a song before, but I have to imagine that I wouldn't be able to write a song if I was like happy.
Because I watched that part of the interview too, and I completely related to her when she was talking about that. I love the song as well. But yeah, I wrote majority of my songs in some of my darker moments, my more isolated moments. And when you're happy, it's kind of like the inspiration is totally different. It's like,
right.
And I guess that was what was different about Heal too, because I was having these moments where I was starting to kind of feel better. And that's where I kind of hit a wall with the song lyrically, because I was like, okay, so I am in this dark place, but I want to feel better, and I'm kind of feeling better. So it's definitely easier to write when you're not in a, a happy mindset. I don't know why that happens, really. I don't think it's like that for everybody.
But I'd bet that it is.
I don't know. I listen to music that's so like upbeat and funky and fun, and like the lyrics are fun, and I'm like, this is interesting. And I always kind of wish that I could do that. My grandmother, when she was alive, she goes, Jesus Christ, can you write a happy song? You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of shit I'd hear constantly,
Yeah.
And it's like, it just doesn't work like that. It's just, that's just not how it works.
Yeah. Well, think about those songs you're talking about. It is those poppy songs that are probably written by somebody else that they're just getting paid to write songs. Like it's just kind of like a machine. And then the professional singers sing it. But I mean, I think for like a singer songwriter, it's probably more often like going through something. And I mean, Blue October is one of my favorite bands, and I mean, I love their current stuff now that he's sober. But like when he was fucked up and on drugs and going through divorce and custody battles, and I'm happy that he's not in that space.
I know exactly what you mean.
Like that music was like awesome. Like you heard the pain in his voice and his lyrics and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I'm happy he's not in that place. But it's kind of it's different to hear it.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally understand that too. I have certain artists that I like too, that when they were at their worst, or like you said, like on drugs, it's like, oh damn. But good for you. But yeah,
I don't listen to anybody that's happy.
Think about the great music that we've received is people on drugs.
Totally. And like occasionally drugs let you access parts of yourself that you don't normally access, so it's I guess it's bittersweet, you could say.
Yeah
But
so we're hoping for more music. I mean, this year, or just trying to focus on the beginning of next year?
We have a lot.
We have a lot, but there's a song specifically that we want to release in the heart of fall, like when it's really turning.
I love that.
I love that too, which is partially why I want to do that. But the song is
that the F song?
Yes.
Okay.
I just pictured it just being fall. But
that's a banger.
Yeah.
I'm actually really proud of that one.
We will tell you a secret. It's called The Forest.
Okay.
So that's just like a little tidbit, but that's the song we want to release in the fall. That is that's on our radar for sure. Yeah. Like everything else is definitely on the album, but in terms of singles where we want to kind of like grab people's attention or get them a little interested, like Heal was a cool way to do that, but The Forest is really kind of like it's exposing how intense the album is going to be, because it's different from the last one.
Yeah. That's the only song I've ever finished getting done with and been like, oh wow, that's really good. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still listen to it and I'm like, it doesn't feel like we've
I know exactly what you mean.
It's kind of I don't know where it came from.
Yeah. It's big. It's like you'll just have to wait and see.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, we're thinking fall for another single release, and then hopefully, early 2024 for an album.
Cool.
As long as we keep the momentum going and we kind of stay on it, because it's easy to really get off track and lost, And it's been helpful to work with artists too, because
this is Juji.
We worked with artist Sierra Borden on our album, and she was awesome. She did the cover art, and then, as you know, Jen from Ion Attraction did our lyric video. So working with other artists helped me stay serious about this release, you
Yeah.
know, and talking with you and talking with Rich Howells, and just we needed the momentum to get back into it. Because, like you said, it's been a while since we put out a release, which is strange because I think it hasn't felt like it's been that long.
No.
But I think also I've been working on other people's music.
Mhm.
So for me, I was doing that like in the interim. So it's like I did James's whole album with him, Series of Mostly Nothing.
Which is
I
great.
think we did, yeah, love. So we did that entire album in the mini house. And it was funny because it was the middle of the summer, and when we had to record vocals, we'd have to shut the air off. So we'd all be sweating. And
Your favorite?
yes, and we would take a break and just put the air on and be like, and then have to sing again, shut it off. It was like, it was such a mess, but it was also really great. So working on that album, I think I worked on almost every song on that album. So it felt like I was still in the like loop of everything, you know what I mean? Still in the game,
Sure.
like musically, and like working on Ty Soul's stuff and his song Rainbow Bridge. I'm not sure if you got to hear it yet,
Mhm.
but it will
Yep.
break your heart into 1,000 pieces and
Yep.
then put it back together. And it's so lovely.
I love that song.
Yeah, so we worked on that. We worked on a bunch of different stuff behind the scenes.
So you've been busy.
Been busy, but not in the forefront.
Yeah, but you just got to figure too. I mean, COVID stole years of our lives, and it's like I
Totally.
feel like those like they don't even exist. Like they were 2
sure.
years of just like nothingness.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's interesting to look back on. You know, I was working in healthcare at the time.
oh boy,
You know, it was a very intense time, and that especially too, like the lack of community, and you know, even if it was the right thing to do at the time, it definitely hit, especially the scene, pretty hard.
yeah,
I know that like it definitely hit the studio too. Like no one was going to record, and if they were, it had to be very like strategic, and
Mhm.
but yeah, so
yeah. I feel like 2019 kind of ended with like this. I don't want to say rejuvenescence, but like I feel like it just like 2020 was set up to be like such a great year for
yeah,
music, and I feel like when I was coming up like 03, 04, there was a ton of venues, ton of bands, and then like 08, 09, like the DJs kind of took over because bars were failing, economy sucked. They didn't want to pay full bands, so it was easier to pay one person. But like
mhm,
the band scene kind of just like started coming back. Like there was like a
yeah,
lot of cool stuff going on,
yeah.
and then 2020 came and not
I
only
feel the same way.
yeah, just
Yeah,
like it was terrible.
yeah. That's definitely a true observation.
And I was always worried like about musicians during that time, just because as artists, not only is recording and writing part of the whole experience and kind of what you guys are what you guys do, but also performing it in front of people and sharing your music with people. And
Totally. People
yeah, you
who
could
do
do
that
the
for their living.
yeah, I mean you could do that with streaming videos, but like you can't, it's not the same thing, right?
It was different. Yeah. Yeah. I felt extremely sad for the people who rely on it for a living too. Like we aren't in a position to have our career be music, but the people who are gigging every week and that is their source of income, I felt the most for them.
Yeah.
Truly during that time. That was tough. I know a couple like relief packages were, I think,
Yeah.
put out for like performers and other things like that. But that was tough. And then we all got in the habit of like not performing, like you said. Like it was just like some people stayed in the loop and they were live streaming, like you said.
Mhm.
And some people made it seem effortless, like Ed. He'd always jump on there, play for 2 or 3 hours. Like I'd be like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it changed everything. Yeah, it really did.
I missed it. I missed playing because I have the kind of opposite of stage fright. When I'm on stage, I feel great. It doesn't bother me at all. But when I'm in a crowd, she'll tell you I get like super anxious and weird and want to just kind of like go off into a corner and make sure nobody's looking at me or touching me.
Yeah.
But when I'm on stage and everybody's looking at me, I'm like, this is fucking great. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, again, we are opposites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like a nervous wreck typically on stage, depending on the crowd or the event. But yeah.
But you guys complement each other well.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think so.
Yeah.
We like to think so. But it's I'm not even fully in the swing of performing like I used to be. We used to play a lot. Like especially when we released the album. We were asked a lot to just play out. We were asked to be on bills and when the keys was open and it was just it feels like a totally different world.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes gigs are harder to come by now. So kind of getting in the rhythm is a little bit harder.
Yeah. We used to be playing someplace every week, it felt like.
Yeah.
Twice a week. Almost too much.
Yeah. But we also teach on the side. We teach at Rockology in Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I teach voice and ukulele, and Matt teaches guitar and bass.
Yeah,
and
cool.
it's all ages. So my youngest is 4, and I think my oldest is about to be 59.
Oh wow.
So it's a wide range, but it also keeps us practicing music, you know. So it's helpful. It keeps us from not falling out.
For sure. And I always loved the ukulele.
Yeah.
What how'd you pick that up?
So when I was younger, I was really into creative writing. So I would do short stories, I would do poetry, I would enter into different competitions, and I was like heavily into just writing. But then when I kind of realized I might have a good voice and I like to sing, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to sing, I need something to play to. And at that time, it was kind of right when ukulele was becoming a thing. I guess you could say. I used to watch Julia Nunes on YouTube. She is a phenomenal artist. She's really what inspired me to even try ukulele. So the basis of the ukulele was it's a little easier than guitar at first. And I knew I wanted something to sing to that wasn't a karaoke track or whatever. So that's really where it started. And I just felt like I fell in love with the instrument. And then years down the line, I started off with the soprano, which is the baby one that you see really most common in Hawaiian music. A tiny one that sits up on your chest. And then I just kind of graduated, moved on to concert, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now I play the biggest ukulele that they make, a baritone. But so basically I feel like the baritone is like my soul instrument. Like I really love the tone of the baritone ukulele. It has 2 guitar strings, so it has a really warm low end to it, a really bassy low end, but it still has those nice highs of a ukulele. So I just kind of fell in love with that instrument, and it just became my thing. I wrote a couple of the songs on guitar, but I found that because guitar is more challenging for me, I was focusing more on the guitar than the creative process of my own, I guess you could say. Whereas ukulele is very comfortable to me, so that allows me to get into that headspace a little bit better.
Yeah.
I still play guitar and everything, but yeah, ukulele is just kind of my thing.
I love it.
Especially, like I said, the baritone. It's a gorgeous instrument.
Yeah, Brett Alexander of the Badleys plays that. I always loved it with that group too. I don't know what it is about. It's funny because my mom always wanted me to take when I was younger banjo lessons.
Oh, nice.
I was a kid in sports. I had no interest in playing banjo. I mean, I don't know what what I would have said if she said guitar. Probably still no, but like where she came out with banjo is like beyond me. I wish maybe
That's amazing. Was she into bluegrass?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Banjo
We
was
like a bluegrass. We like a bluegrass.
yeah.
I'm also a sucker for mandolin. I love mandolin. I try to throw it in as many of our songs as it'll kind of fit in. I do not play mandolin. My uncle plays mandolin, and then Joe from the studio, he doesn't actually play. He just like learns when we need it. It's insane. It really is. But yeah, that's another instrument I am a total sucker for.
Now that I'm thinking about it, Brett might play the mandolin, not the ukulele.
Oh yeah, I mean
it's
it's easy to get them confused too, but and a lot of people play both. You know, like ukulele is depending on what level you're playing at, it can be more beginner, but it also gets really challenging too. So
yeah.
But yeah.
How about the two of you? I mean, relationships in general could be difficult at times. Now
Totally.
you're adding a second dimension of a relationship being in a band together. How does that work out?
Well,
I hate it. No, I'm just kidding.
we have like these kind of unspoken rules that we follow all the time. Like we don't tell each other to shut up. We make sure we don't make each other feel like what they're feeling or what they're going through isn't important, even though we may not understand it. And we try to be open to whatever we're saying. We just try to like empathize with each other.
Yeah, and we're like it helps because we were friends first. So it's like we have that friendship, which I definitely cherish. And it's funny, the first couple years of our relationship were really hard. So some of the songs were written like when I was upset with him or when I was upset about something in general. And it's like we don't talk about it. It's very weird. Like it's like we don't talk about it. And the same with like songs that I wrote before. It's not like we don't go into like explaining things too much with each other.
Right.
It's just like this is a bond that we have, and it's kind of like an unspoken bond. And like, don't get me wrong, if he does something I don't like, especially like musically, I will be like, I don't like that shit. Knock that off. Like that's not the vibe I'm going for. So it kind of helps in that sense too, or we could be totally real with each other. Like, I'm actually trying to convince him to do like an instrumental project because he's just so creative and he listens mostly to instrumental music. So that's another thing. But as far as it's a lot of the songs are based upon relationships. And like I said, they're not spoken about in like totally. He's not like, oh, what did you mean when you wrote this?
No,
I know.
Like that's never like that's
I was gonna
not
say that. Like if you brought a song to the table and he's like
yeah,
it's very
like I want to kill my partner.
Like if it sounds good, I don't care what the fuck she says about me. If it sounds good, you keep it.
Yeah.
Hello.
So basically,
he wants to go to bed. I'm sorry. That's why he's doing this.
That's okay. So yeah, in the beginning, like I said, we were going through a rough patch. Matt was having some really bad mental health problems that were really affecting our relationship. So occasionally he would be an asshole and then we'd have to play a gig. So that's when I was like, this is why I play by myself. We can't be doing this, da 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 da. But like now way down the line, it's like we're in such a different space that it's absolutely just very it's very easy, organic. It's very open. There's no pressure, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
Because I put pressure on myself constantly. So it's nice to have a safe space to kind of do that and create together. But yeah, in the beginning it might have been a little awkward because I was writing songs about how big of a dick he was.
It's so funny.
And he's just like, and he's just playing guitar like,
yeah, this picture
okay.
like
That's a weird lyric. I guess I'll just keep going then.
that's
what
so
was that
funny.
chord again? Okay.
Yeah. Run that back one more time. That's funny. That's great though. It's great.
Well, that reminds me. This is actually very off topic. I have ADHD, but there's a TikTok of this guy. It's girlfriend and boyfriend in the car, and they're like rap battling each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she does this verse, and then he says, "I'm sitting in the car with a big old bitch," and, and she's like, oh, "Big old bitch." Just reminded me of that.
I just say that it's funny because I say the dumbest things. I feel like all the time,
Constantly.
That's what we do.
It's what we do. I mean, like I said, life is short. You can't take it too seriously. It's just no.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it, and
It's stupid.
you just gotta
Life
try.
is dumb. Life is stupid as fuck. It's like dumb shit that happens.
I promise, I'm very introspective and deep. He tells it
That's
like
a waste
it
of your
is.
time. Just it's fucking dumb and stupid. Nobody really gives a fuck about anything that anybody does. They just want to pretend like they do. Shut the fuck up. Mind your own business. You know what I mean?
Okay, this is why I do interviews alone.
No, this is great. This is great because he's not wrong. Like, I mean,
He's not wrong.
Social media has like made everything that he just said like people think that like they matter or
Totally.
People think they're mad. That's my biggest problem with the
Well,
world
no,
right
and
now.
it's like I like it because it keeps people connected. But when I listen to Matt talk, he brings me down to earth in terms of like, hey, no one's gonna care if you ripped your stockings and that. Like, no one really cares. You know what I mean? Like, not in a malicious way, but in like everyone's in their own dream, as one of my favorite authors writes. Everyone's in their own dream all the time, and we're all just kind of existing with each other, and that's how I think of it. Anyway, Matt says life is dumb, but that's what he means. I think like
Life is good.
Life is
Don't get me
good.
wrong.
yeah.
But dumb shit all the time happens, and it's not worth like worrying about anything ever.
Yeah, so he brings me down to earth.
What will be, will be.
He he reminds me not to take stuff so seriously. Laugh more and just don't make a big deal out of everything.
Yeah.
And you can't do everything for everybody. So
It's hard.
Oh, it's totally hard, and
It's
you
hard.
have a family and a career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no different.
That's a success. That's a successful.
Yeah, it's stressful. It's just one of those things. It's like I'm constantly wondering, like, am I being a good enough dad? Am I being a good enough husband? Am I doing enough of this? Am I doing enough of that? Am I doing too much? Yeah, it's just like
You're doing fine.
But the fact that you even think about those things, that's a testament to like how good you are. Because if you didn't give a shit and you didn't consider it and you didn't consider your efforts, that would make you.
Yeah, well, so I've been getting angry a lot lately, and I don't know why. But I kind of no, because like I see other people just like skating by and like not putting the work in. And when I say work, like whether it's your job or being a husband or a wife or a mom or a dad, like you're not in it 100%. And it's like it makes me mad, and I shouldn't. Like my biggest thing right now, and I talk to people at work sometimes, and what I've recognized is I need to stop caring about what other people are or aren't doing.
Yeah.
And maybe I need to take a break from social media because I think I'm getting caught up. And like it's not even consciously. It's just like, you start scrolling your phone, you're seeing, this person, that person, or even in your
scrolling.
Yeah, even in your day-to-day life, you're just like, why do you get to like slack and like everyone else is like, doing the hard work? It's like
Totally.
I shouldn't care.
Well, and it's okay if you care, but you can't let it consume you. And
it
also boils down to like what you can control and what you can't, so
Right.
like
I gotta chill.
have, yeah. So
I gotta
that's
chill.
like, that's what it boils down to. And so much of our time is with things we can't actually control. And I am also speaking for myself. So, we're all human.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely relatable. And you're doing a great job. And like I said, the fact that you even wonder if you're doing enough, that says it all.
Thank you. But yeah, it's more just like stress.
Totally. Yeah.
Stress.
Yeah.
Like I had to figure out where I was putting my kid in kindergarten this year. And it's like, am I making the
Oh.
right choice? It's like, what the fuck? I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's scary.
Yeah.
You never know what the right, there's
And there's no
no
wrong. There's no wrong.
there's
It's just
no
like
wrong. There's no like book that answers every question for parenting either.
Yeah.
Like you just got to do what's right in the moment, I guess. I'm not a parent. I'm a pet parent, but
yeah.
Mhm.
That's a whole different set.
yes.
Three dogs at 90 pounds each. That's a challenge.
Yeah. And we have a hamster named Rodney, aka Hot Rod.
Because he goes really fast in that wheel.
Yeah, I had a hamster when I was younger, and I don't know. I wanted one, and my parents let me get one, and I think my dad reluctantly let me get one. And I look back now, and like I remember having to clean that thing, like and the piss in the corners and shit.
Yeah.
I hated that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah. No, it's really honestly, it's super chill because we have a really big cage.
Yeah.
So or enclosure, whatever. So and like it's just like more of a monthly, it's huge. So like it's more manageable and it's not like, and I didn't realize like I did a lot of research on hamsters and like I didn't realize how much like enrichment they need. Like they need a lot of enrichment. So different type of things to chew and climb. And it's like they say they need like an average of like 8 different types of enrichment within their enclosures. Like it's pretty amazing. So anyway, Hot Rod is very fast. And
he's more of our dog's pet than ours though.
Yeah, our dogs love him. So they just sit and watch him run and have fun, and they sit at his little house and pant. And he does have a couch. He has a leather couch. Well, it's pleather, but it is so cute you could die.
Yeah.
It's like a real life replica of a couch.
That's the only reason why she got the hamster. I swear to God, it's because she saw the stupid couch.
Yeah.
And she's like, how cute is that? Then 3 days later, she was with Summer. She bought that goddamn hamster. She didn't even tell me until she came home. She's like, don't be mad.
Yeah, that's what they do.
He's like, do you have something living? I'm like,
it's funny. If you had a cat, they wouldn't be as good together. Like the dogs are like, okay, what is this? This is fine. But a cat would be like, you're dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I always thought it was neat how like they put all that food in the mouth and then they would punch it out.
Yeah. It's so cute. Yeah. And it's ridiculous because like no one's going to take it. Like it's yours. You can have it. And he just stuffs his cheeks and runs. Right. Like it's like, bro, we got your back. Like we brought you here.
We'll give you more.
We'll give you more if you really want it. But yeah. So 3 dogs and a hamster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I won't keep you. I know your dog's going to go to bed.
This is
every night.
He's pouting so hard.
He is a big baby.
They are, but they're fun.
He was the runt of the litter.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna pick a different dog because I had one in my arms and I saw all the other ones playing and he was just sitting there watching them so sad. And I said, I want that one. I want the sad one.
One of my coworkers accidentally had puppies. She's like, hey, don't put the dogs together. And then the kids did, and they were like, well, we have puppies now.
Yeah.
So
nature took its course.
Yeah. Yes, it did. But it's a good thing. But yeah, so I don't want it to end. I can't believe it's been an hour and a half almost.
Almost, yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Time really
it doesn't exist.
We covered it. Yeah.
Well, where did the name come from? Sweetnest.
Sweetness. So I have always it's kind of funny, but I've always had a sweet tooth. I've always called my loved ones sweetie or sweetheart. And the one day I was kind of just doing some word play and I was like, I kind of like adding nest to the end. And it was also like I would call my grandma like sweetness, like NESS. So it all just kind of ended up working out. And one day I just kind of wrote it together and I said, because I had a couple other ideas. And for a while, I wanted to just go by my name, but I was like,
You had another idea that I really liked. Do you remember what it was called?
Good Heart.
No.
Good Heart was what I was originally going to write under, but yeah, my name was like almost never an option. I'm like, Amanda Rogan. No one's gonna listen. Small victories.
Small victories. I like that one too.
Yeah. But I think I think we ran into the issue where like there's already 6 other bands like that have it and yada yada yada. But I love what we ended up with and got to do some collage work for the album, which is like one of my favorite mediums. So hoping to do something like that for the full length too. But time will tell, you know. But yeah, it's a different sound we're gonna be working with.
Yeah.
I hope everybody likes it.
Well, I just had this discussion, may have been today. No, it was yesterday. We're talking about Fall Out Boy and how this person liked the early Fall Out Boy versus the, later years. And it's like, who, that's fair, right? But like, who are we to tell an artist to like, keep doing the same thing? Like, that's not fair.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I completely understand what you're talking about. Just because I listen to artists that I feel the same way, or I like every era of them. Like it's like, oh, this is when they did this. This is when they like. I love that when artists kind of make it work in whatever phase they're in at the time. But as an artist, you worry. You want everything to be liked, received well.
Yep.
Yeah, but our sound is definitely evolving. It's becoming a little more complex, a little more intense. Yeah, so
yeah, the last album I came in and the songs were like hers. I was just adding to them.
Right.
She had them written, but this time we had a few like that, but there's a few where I just kind of went in with Joe and wrote a song, and then she's writing lyrics to them whenever that would happen. Because sometimes I usually just go in with Joe and nothing in mind. I just go there. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I'll start off with like a riff or maybe something I'm playing with in my head, and we'll go from there. And they usually come out with probably about a song every time I do it.
Yeah, and it's nice because it shifts our perspective too, because like he said, until now, the reason I even chose the name is it was every song I had written up until when I wanted to release it. So it's like until now was all my completed songs. Maybe not all of them, but those select few up until that point where I was ready to record and release them. And now again, he can go in and do an instrumental, and then I can kind of use that to get into my space that I need to be in, and it goes from there. But it's it's always interesting.
Yeah, you said the word perspective, and I love perspective, like on everything. Just earlier tonight, I was across the street at my neighbor's house, and I was looking at my house, which I never do, right? I'm always like, you're always like coming out of your house, looking across the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a neat perspective. Like, this is something I don't see all the time. And I think like perspective in general, like no matter what it is.
Yeah. It's such a shift.
Yeah. It's such a cool, like perspective.
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't. Sometimes you don't even think you have that option to see things so differently. You know what I mean? It's like even
Yeah.
something as basic as looking at your house from across the street. Like it's like I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing about music because
Yes, exactly.
I like to reimagine songs in my head from how somebody else wrote them. Maybe it has a different meaning to me, but then when I find out like the original meaning behind it, that's just a nice little perspective.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. I like to think that our songs do that for people too. We try to keep it like up in the air with meaning wise. I feel like, especially the new ones, you can just kind of interpret them as you will. And I've been trying this thing where I bought this book called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrow. There we go.
Sorrow.
And it's a bunch of words that you've never heard of that give that
It's things you feel, but you didn't know they had a word for them.
Yeah.
Like oh, the thought of going somewhere, but you can't go back there, or and that's what this word means. Or so it's feelings that we feel already.
we just don't
We
know
just don't know
names.
they have a name for them or a word for them. And so that's what this book is that he uses sometimes. And he'll just kind of flip through and like stop on a page and just kind of like get into that headspace and again shift his perspective into, and then that results in something creative. And sometimes it gets released for other people to experience too, you know?
Mhm. That's one super cool thing about music is just people can hear what they hear. And that's like life in general too. Like, I could write words and you can read them differently than how I, mean for them to. And you can write music that means one thing to you and it's different to me. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's a crazy thing this life is, but
Yeah, and
it's fun.
and it is. And sometimes I'm very direct with like my lyrics, and other times I'm not. And like that is somewhat intentional. But sometimes I don't know what I'm even trying to say. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to kind of get perspective of myself. Like it's kind of like being able to see myself through a different lens, or what I might be going through or what I'm trying to say comes out in a different way. So yeah, music is definitely, as we know, very powerful.
Yeah.
So grateful to have it. I'm grateful that I grew up at a time where music and art were in the schools heavily, especially elementary school. I've been singing since I'm 5. I've been playing recorder since I was in first grade. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel really lucky to have grown up in that time when music and art was so embedded in schools. Because I don't know. I was also a sports kid. I played soccer for 11 years. So I don't know what would have happened if I never found music, but thank God.
Right. And that's why we brewed Pop Goes Porter. $1
Hey,
of every pint
circle back,
sold.
baby. Circle back. Get a callback going. Come on now.
No, but I mean, people when we did that, and it was such it was received so greatly. They were like so like the community was so like grateful. Like like if I didn't find music, I would probably be in a ditch somewhere or whatever. And it's just like
Yeah.
it's sad that like those programs are the first things to get cut or
Absolutely.
they're so important. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's why I do this because I can't perform music, I can't write songs. So like this is like my way to
You're a music lover though, you know
Love
what
it.
I mean? And
Love
that's
it.
all that matters. Like that's where we all connect, whether you play an instrument or not. Like we
Yeah.
are all music lovers. We respect music as an art.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's August. Four like well, I was gonna say what 3.5 months, 4.5 months left of the year.
Mhm.
What's the store for? I know you mentioned another like one more song this year in the fall. Any shows lined up for the rest of the year, or are we kind of just
So
riding it out?
we are playing the Burning Roses Fest this Saturday.
Okay.
The 19th at Naog Park. And as for future shows, they're in the talks, but no dates have been nailed down. We kind of have been just taking time to process, the new single and try to promote, which is so difficult. Luckily, we've had some help from members of the community do write-ups for us and playlisting and just all the stuff that comes along with, doing music. So yeah, we're looking forward to playing shows. We are looking forward to hopefully getting a full band set up at some point. And definitely if we do an album release show, we will have a full band set up for that. So those are some things. And then, like I said, that single in the fall, most likely October.
Okay.
But we'll see,
The Forest. Looking forward to that. Yeah, but we'll enjoy Heal while we wait for that.
Yeah,
And,
I'm hoping you do.
Yeah, and then hopefully we'll see that music video materialize.
Hey, yeah, I think you might have just put it in motion because
I-
it's
well,
just been in my head for like
Months.
and every
Yeah.
time I hear the song, I see everybody just like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I don't know how to make this happen, but maybe we'll bring it to life.
gotta do it, and it's fun. Like music videos is fun.
For sure. Yeah. That's like Dakota's new video. I love that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
really, really well done and really a lot of fun. Those guys are
Again,
great.
it's like a heavy song.
Yeah,
And then they just had fun with the video. So I love like the duality of that as well. So yeah.
art is amazing. Like, it really
It
is.
It is. I encourage anybody to engage in it as often as possible. And my therapist talk, but it's about the process, not the product.
Mhm.
So just, even if you're just gonna jump in and don't worry. Don't put the pressure on yourself, like it's awesome to have some kind of outlet like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for doing this.
Well,
It was
thank you
great.
for asking.
Yeah, it was great to be able to chat with you guys.
I feel like we've never been able to talk like this.
Never.
Not once.
Never.
There's usually like really loud music playing.
I know.
And
It's
a lot of friends and a lot of
Yeah.
people. A lot of yeah.
remember I
So
saw
this
you guys
was,
at
this was nice.
yeah, so I remember seeing you guys at the drive-in show, but that was a
Yeah.
quick like hello and
Yeah.
goodbye. So
Mhm.
I'm sure I've seen you once or twice since then, but yeah, it's tough.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
but check out Sweetnest on all the streaming services. Until Now was a great album, is a great album. I strongly encourage everyone to start with that because it's phenomenal. And then Baby was a great song, and everything you guys have done has just been awesome. So
Thank you.
looking forward to some more new music, and hopefully I'll see you guys like at a show, like performing.
Totally.
I know you did that one show for me at the Altman's Underground at Carl Hall.
That was Miss Carl Hall too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully I'll catch a show soon.
Yeah, we would love that. And thank
Yeah.
you for the kind words and the great conversation.
Yes, it was a pleasure talking to those I respect. So,
Aw, ditto.
so
All right,
I
my friend.
Yes, have a good night. Put the dogs to bed. And, stick around for 2 seconds when we're done here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. We'll see you.
Bye.